Hi everybody, Russ and My Amaz 11. Hope you're all safe and well. That's all that matters. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you're made aware anytime I put new content on. As always, I'd like to thank our lovely channel sponsors. I can't catch it. Untuck it. Check them out in the description below. We've got another episode of Outside the Bubble, our new series where we interview fans from outside of West Ham. Oh my goodness. And today we've got a good one. We've got a good one today. He turned up early as well, which is, as he said, he's probably the first time in a blue moon. It is Craig from Anfield Agenda. Let me bring him in. How are you doing, Craig?
I'm all right, Ross. How are you, my man?
I'm all right. Not too bad. How have you been? You know, not football related, but in general, in this weird world we live in.
I think, do you know what? YouTube's kind of been my savior. It's kind of allowed me to keep things ticking along, keep the conversation going. And the worst 3 months, without a doubt, was when football was stopped. I didn't know what to be doing, mate. I won't lie. I was watching reruns and stuff. I was absolutely lost.
Well, I'd still think I've recently completed Netflix.
Good man.
Completed it, mate. Yeah. And Amazon Prime's getting a good old pasting now. But yeah, I know it's but I mean the thing is now it's like we had no football for those 3 months, those 100 days, and now it's like every bloody day there's something on.
It's brilliant, isn't it? And we've got the summer to come up as well, the Euros, the Olympics. Yeah, roll on.
Well, I suppose until June we're not fully unlocked, are we, until June? But yeah, it'd be good for summer of sport, and it's good to see. It's good, it's good that football. I mean, football's kept us going, I think, and I know it's kept you guys going. It's definitely, I know the whole YouTube game has kept me going. I mean, I didn't start it until lockdown one because I'd had enough of watching Australian reality TV with my wife, basically. To be perfectly honest, but
I notice you're not saying any particular shows there. Just bland. Just yeah. Don't give them credit. Why should they? They put you through enough already, Russ. Do you know what I mean?
They're all the same, man. They're all the same. They just blend into one, innit? Love Island or Married at First Sight. They just blend into one. I don't know. You know, I look up and I go, oh, who's he? So, he's hers, and he's come in and he's done. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I'll talk about West Ham instead. I can do that pretty all right.
I'll tell you what, I've got a confession to make on that front as well, mate. I gave up watching EastEnders and Coronation Street as soon as the COVID stuff came in because I couldn't stand the distance and the camera angles.
Oh, it's weird.
The way they were shooting, I just gave up. That was the end of it.
Yeah, it is weird. We've had who do we have on? We had Billy, we had Billy Mitchell, and we've had Jay on as well. Obviously, they're both West Ham fans, and we were talking about that. And you know, for them, shooting takes like twice as long because they've got to shoot it from one angle, and they've got to shoot exactly the same thing from what. Yeah, exactly. And they always it's the gaps, isn't it? Because they're all in different bubbles, so you know they can't. The storyline just evolves around 3 people or 4 people, not the whole cast. But yeah. Not long. We ain't got long, mate. We ain't got long till it's all back to normal.
2 of my favourite characters you had there, to be fair, though. Jay and Billy, like two proper characters. You got to like both of them.
Yeah, and Perry's a proper. I mean, Joey's as well. I mean, Joey's, but Billy's like old school. Perry's old school West Ham. But it's and obviously from a football perspective, you know, if Boris's roadmap works in the UK, in England, for example, we could have 10,000 fans back for the last game of the season. That's all right, isn't it? I'll take that.
It's a good start, my man. It's definitely a good start. It's you know, we had 2,000 for a little while there in some parts, and 10 would definitely be a lot better. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it would be. Although now the only trouble is everyone's who hasn't got whose last game isn't at home is trying to move the other game so they can, because it's like 2 days after. I think 2 days after the 10,000 rule happens, it's the last game of the season. It's the last round of the fixtures, and they're seeing if they can move it a week so everyone gets a home game. But then, to me, that sounds absolute bollocks because you've got your Euros and stuff, and it won't. Exactly. Anyway, I don't think that will happen. Someone was mentioning it to me the other day, but we'll see what happens. We've got Southampton at home, so not too bad. Could be our Champions League qualification party.
Could be. And I tell you what, I did not think I would ever be sitting here and all the chats I've done with Corey from the West Ham Way and any other channels. I didn't think I'd be sitting here, mate, talking about David Moyes getting you lads up into a Champions League spot. But you know what? The league table doesn't lie.
It don't lie. It lies after a few weeks, doesn't it? A few weeks, it lies. But then as the weeks and months go past, and the games, yeah. I still don't think I think we'll end up just missing. I'll be honest. I think we'll just miss out. But I'm not bothered. I'm really not bothered, to be honest. I think it's been a good season for us, and as I said, anywhere above 16th is a good season. Was going to be a good season for us this year. So
I tell you what, I've said it for a while. Souček, what a player, man! What a signing.
He's cool.
Him and I've been really surprised. I mean, I liked when I heard the outspoken nature of Mark Noble as well. At one point, I said to myself, that lad has the club's best interests at heart as well. And then Jared Bowen coming through as well. Like, it's been some impressive displays.
Yeah, it has, and I think, and there's been a lot of debate about whether fans of being in the ground have contributed or not. Sorry, not being in the ground have contributed or not contributed to some teams, and I think that's true for some teams. Sheffield United, for example, they were flying high, and as soon as the fans are gone, and West Brom and people like that, particularly the Championship teams, I feel sorry for a lot of their fans because obviously they could go almost potentially a whole season without seeing their team playing the Premier League. And I think, and honestly, someone asked me the question about West Ham, and I think actually, as you said, Mark Noble been outspoken just before the season started. We've got this horrible run of games, and it was a real not a good vibe around West Ham. I think it actually helped us not having fans for those first couple of games. Sort of let the team get going, and then now they're just Now we can't. Everyone's going to love going back to London Stadium, and everyone will be like, "Yeah, here we go, we're back. Yeah. We weren't moaning about this place. No. We always come back to this place." So it's
Jack may definitely missed it. I was chatting to him a few weeks ago, and you could see from him he was looking forward to getting back to the first bit of co-commentary or working with the TV station. He was really missing it. Like, that's one thing that came across when I spoke to him. Like, he really was missing being there.
He is. We because he did the first show and he was buzzing for that. Bless him. I've got to know Jack very well since lockdown, really, just by doing this channel, really, and then to have like one game, that's it. You don't do it again. But he was back last week, and so he was happy. And I send him a little because I'm still at the ground during the match days, doing the music and stuff. So I'm still there. So sometimes I send him a little video. Just of like, just of London Stadium, just so he can keep going. It's a bit like a little shot of insulin if you're a diabetic. That sort of just keep that West Ham just going. So he's all right, but yeah, he was missing it, and everything else of him as well. Obviously the podcasts and stuff. It was all closed, so it was tough times, but hopefully we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, my man.
He got rid of the Yaris, though. There is that. He got rid of the Yaris and traded himself up. I mean, it's very rare, Russ. I chat with a YouTuber who's made it, and I'm flexing about my 2011 Megane over his Toyota Yaris. Like,
it's so true. But he's got, I love Jack, but I don't like that range. Honestly, that car always looks to me like it's been under a bridge that's too short for it. Do you know what I mean?
Was it the Evoque? Is that the one?
Yeah, the Evoque. Yeah, I think didn't Posh Spice? I believe Posh Spice was involved in that designing process. Someone told me that once. But it's my wife loves it. She was jealous, and when she saw like Jack got it, she was like, "Russ, where's this YouTube? Like, Jack's on YouTube. Where's this? Where's my Vogue?" Oh, no, you got to wait a long time for that, love. I tell you, you got to sign an exclusive deal with Spotify first, man. But
he's one of the lads that deserves it, though, isn't he? He is so kind-hearted and good and honest, and he's just a top fella. If anyone deserves it, he definitely does.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Local, not local boys in Norwich, but local boy done good, as we would say down here. The boy done good, and it's great to see. He's been grafting for years, and it's great. I mean, as I said, this is not a Jack White appreciation episode, but it's true. I love that. Love the podcast. I think it's great, and I'm glad he's back and doing what he wants to do, and obviously back at West Ham as well, which is even better. But a team that's not well. A team that, obviously for you guys this season hasn't been great. It hasn't been the highest standards as previous seasons. Is that fair to say, ma'am? Is that your synopsis of the season so far?
It was going all right up until December-ish. I was quite happy with things at that point. We were 5 points clear at one point, and I was fully convinced it was back to back. But to say it fell apart after we lost that first home game is an understatement. 6 in a row, first time in the club's history. Look, there's obviously varying reasons why. There's a whole host of it: injuries, the crowd, fatigue, loads of stuff. No one thing. But I was happy the other night. I was happy we got ourselves into the last 8 of the Champions League, and that's at least something to keep going for the end of the season. Definitely. Because I'd rather finish 9th or 10th than be playing in the Europa League or the Europa Conference. I mean, the thoughts of playing, like, I don't know, us against Cliftonville or something like that in the Europa League conference doesn't really appeal.
Well, I won't mind a little trip over there, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see. I know what you mean. You've been not spoiled, but you're used to playing at the Champions League level, and I totally understand that. And I think it's one of those things where just injuries, man, isn't it? I mean, I know it's the same with every club, but it seems you guys have been ravaged by them. Absolutely, particularly obviously the centre back position. It's like a poison chalice. You put anyone there, and they seem to just like get hobbled off soon enough. But obviously, you turned us over at London Stadium, which was fair enough. Fair enough. I think we gave you guys too much credit, not credit. What's the word? Too much respect. I think we could have. But fair play, you guys are good, man.
We've had like 18 different centre back parents this
Mental,
season.
innit?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's madness,
crazy.
but look, it's not an excuse. Like, everybody has injuries, and it was a whole host of factors. City had a drop off last year, obviously not to the same extent, and I think we'll be all right next year when we get the bodies back and a couple of new, fresh faces in. I mean, I'm optimistic about the future. I'm still 100% behind that manager. I mean, my argument to anyone who tries to go Klopp out is that man leaves tomorrow, he'll walk into any job in the world. Job in the world.
Yeah, that's really true, man. It's really true. I think we had 18. I think we had 18 centre back changes when we played Man United in the Cup. It seemed that one game everyone was getting fucking injured to get to moving people around. But yeah, I know what you mean, and it is. I mean, that's probably the one thing I think why we've done all right this season is we haven't been ravaged by injuries to basically sort of two people. Like Souček and Rice. I mean, they've played Souček didn't play 1 minute because he got sent off in the last minute of Fulham, didn't he? But they've played every minute, and that's basically it. Everyone else around them, Antonio's been injured, or Ogbona's injured, or Masuaku was injured at the beginning of the season. Fabianski is injured, but those two haven't, and I think that's why we've done well, because they're pretty awesome, them two. But and obviously we've got Super Craig Dawson at the back. You know what I mean? So. Maybe a late England call up. Who knows?
Yeah, I was only thinking of this the other day. Like, obviously, I'm Irish and I've no vested interest, but Gareth Southgate has no excuses going into this year.
Nah.
The quality of youth and experience at his disposal. I mean, there is a real golden generation of young players coming through now for England.
Definitely, and the fact also, the guys over in Germany as well. I mean, you got Bellingham, you got Jude, you've got Sancho. You've got. I mean, even like they seem to. I think it's Newcastle. Is it Nathan Brownsill from Leipzig? He's coming out. He's 18, and he went over there. And he's coming back. There's just so many young kids coming through now. It's almost like you've got this wealth of riches, and I think we'll see what happens. I mean, there's so many people to pick from. That's why. I think people like, Craig Dawson, yeah, he's brilliant. He's playing really well, but no, he's not. He's not. He doesn't fit the Southgate mold. He's an old school defender, but we love him. And for £2 million or whatever we're going to pay for him if he starts the next two games, I'll take that.
We had Nat Phillips, aka Terry Butcher, the other night on there in a full headgear. Man, that was old school for me. I full had Terry Butcher vibes for that game. Where I was just looking at him, going, "You absolute warrior!" It was. I want him to wear that every game now, whether he needs it or not. Like, he just looks harder with it on.
Well, that's what I was really disappointed the other day when we played Tottenham, and Souček basically got his eye like sliced open, blood pouring out. The first thing he wanted to do was stop the shot. So he's got blood pouring out like one eye, and then he went off, and I thought he was going to come back Terry Butchered up, but no, he just came up, nicely, got stitched and Vaseline. I was really disappointed, so I thought he would have been epic, but yeah. They're made of tough stuff, them Czech boys, mate.
Yeah, they most certainly are.
They most certainly are. Right, okay. Let's talk about this. So the whole idea of what we try and do in outside the bubble is we try and put together a team from players who have played for both West Ham and the guest. So it's West Ham and obviously Liverpool. We've had West Ham, Leicester and Sunderland. That was fucking hard. Sunderland. That was ridiculous. Considering there was no goalkeepers who played. It was like literally the first episode, first position. There was no one. So it's like scrapping around. Well done, Russ. Good series there. But it's just to all prove that, it doesn't matter what colour we've got on our shirts, what badge we've got by our hearts. We're all the same underneath, and there's loads of players who've played for both. And to be perfectly honest, I think this one is probably the easiest one I've done. Would you agree?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised when I did my
Yeah,
research. I mean, I've taken a bit of poetic license in
nice.
some areas, but yeah, there's definitely 17 or so you could put out there quite
Yeah.
easily that have come across and played for both sides. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Again, you spoke about the goalkeeper situation at Sunderland. Although there are options, it was still the one that gave me the biggest headache.
Well, there we go. So what we'll do is I let the away team go first. So so what we'll do is you say who you got in goal, I say who I've got in for goal, and then hopefully we might have even had the same person go straight through. If not, we'll have a little bit of a she put in, he was good, he was crap, that type of thing. It's quite good. It's good fun. So between the sticks, my friend, who have you got between the sticks? Who's in goal?
I have the words David James and then brackets regrettably.
Oh, don't slag off the JMO. I tell you what.
It was all right for you fellas, but I have different memories of him completely when he played for us.
I like David James. I mean, I've put JMO down as well. Obviously there was JMO or Adrian, of course. Adrian, but but he wasn't very good for you guys either, to be fair. But I think JMO. I mean, yeah, as you said, he was better for us than he probably was for you. But for me, yeah, we had him on the channel recently, and he was an absolute gentleman and so honest about how he used to flap for things. He was honest about, he didn't. There was no assumption that he was an unfallible goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? But we'll put JMO in. We'll let that one happen because I think that's an easy one. So we'll put JMO in. So he's in goal. All
I
right,
think he was
okay.
responsible for those Armani suits of ours as well, by the way.
Yes, I believe he was. I
So
believe he was.
I'll give him his credit for that one because that's a memorable moment. I know we lost that FA Cup final to United, but that was a memorable moment for me seeing those suits. I think he had a deal with Armani himself at the time or something.
I can imagine that. He told a story about his hair. When we played United, he dyed it, and it was like it ended up going like yellow. It wasn't like blonde; it was like orange. And he did his eyebrows as well, and I think I think there's the press said the day before in the review that there was West Ham had a clown in goal, but they assumed because of him not playing well. But he actually looked like a bloody clown. He had curly hair, and he had the eyes. Top bloke. Love JMO. Right, okay, David James in goal. Easy. That's an easy one. Right. What we'll do is we'll do it rather than say left back, right, we'll do it in terms of defenders because sometimes I might have put a defender in the wrong thing and it's just easier. So who's your first defender then, Craig?
I've gone for Glenn Johnson.
Yes.
Glenn Johnson, I think, no denying the man's quality. On his day, he was fantastic. I like him as a pundit, actually. I like listening to his words about the game as well. And he seems like a very well-rounded fella. So I've gone for Glenn Johnson as one of my defenders.
Yeah.
I have actually put him in the right back position. I know there's another one that we'll probably talk about, but that's where my poetic license came in. I've put him at left back.
No, I've put Glenn Johnson at right back. Yep, exactly. I mean, he's one of those players who you were like, oh, Glenn Johnson. He was part of that fantastic, academy where we had, Joe Cole and Carrick and He didn't play that many games for us, really. I think he only played about less than 20 games for us. But he was one of those players at that era where he turned up and you thought, oh, he's really good. Oh, he's brilliant. Yeah, this guy's cracking. When's he off? Because he just knew he was going to leave, and he left that season. Obviously, we went down, and I think he left the same money as Joe Cole, which was ridiculous. But yeah, I think anyway. Right, we'll put Johnson in. Yeah, and as I said, I really like him as a pundit as well on Talk Sport and stuff. I think he's really good, and hopefully he'll be on soon on the channel soon. So, Glenny's on. Who's your next defender then, my man?
I tell you what, this is where some poetic license comes in because I needed to make space in the midfield. I'm going for Javier Mascherano as a centre back.
That's what I put in. I put Mascherano in as a centre back. That's what I mean. Sometimes actually going through it, as I said, that's why I go through it one person at a time because actually, Javier, he played all of Barcelona through centre back, didn't he? If I remember correctly. And I'm not being funny.
He did. He played a lot of time centre back for Barcelona, 100%. But what a man! What a player!
Oh. Brilliant, but not as good as Hayden Mullins. Famously, that's why he never got into the team because he preferred Hayden Mullins. But I mean, and to be fair, at the moment, at the moment, your team, anyone at midfield's playing centre back anyway, isn't it? So it's not poetic, just that's just the way your guys are set up at the moment. It's to be.
It's true. I loved him. I absolutely loved having Javier Mascherano with the club. He part of that midfield, obviously, with Alonso and Gerrard and Momo Sissoko at one point. I mean, we were spoiled at that point, but he encapsulated what I think us fans loved. He was like a pit bull out there on the pitch. Loved watching him play football.
And talking to a lot of the lads who were around when obviously him and Tevez signed for us, he was the one who was really into learning the language and understanding the culture, like the English culture and stuff. So it was always sort of not assumed, but people thought that he was going to more likely stay in the English game rather than Carlos, who basically walked everywhere with an interpreter, basically. Even like on the dance floor in a London nightclub, Anton Ferdinand told me. So there we go. But Mascherano, I could just imagine them on the dance floor and like Tevez is proper sweating, doing some Argentine tango, trying to get a vodka Red Bull and trying to talk to Anton about it at the same time. But yeah, but we're Javier Mascherano in. Yes, he was. Would love to have played a lot more at West Ham, but of course, as we said, Hayden Mullins was preferred. Although, I love that, but I love Hayden Mullins. I do love, and that's the thing. When obviously that was around, when we obviously the 2006 FA Cup with you and us, and obviously when Garcia and Mullins had their fight in the middle of the pitch at Upton Park and both got sent off, I think us losing Mullins was a bigger issue than you losing Garcia for that game, in my opinion. But anyway, I'm not bitter. Marlon Harewood, why Marlon? No, exactly, not. And it's funny when you talk to players around it, like probably one we might talk about in a bit, and some others, they don't like talking about the FA Cup final. They hate it. But anyway, right, okay. So we got Mascherano, we've got Glenn Johnson. Who's your next defender, my friend?
I'm gonna kind of just keep going across the back line as a centre back, and it's got to be Ruddock. It's got to be Razor. It has to be Razor, doesn't it?
Yes, this is great. This is 4 for 4. That's what I mean. Yeah, it's got to be Neil Ruddock. I tell you what. Yeah, I mean, he was. Do you know what? I've got his lasting memory of Neil Ruddock, and we've had him on the channel, and I've interviewed him, and I told him this off when we finished the interview. It was the end of season. When it used to be called a lap of honour, but they changed it to a lap of appreciation. Because there's obviously no honour because we never won anything, so it was always a lap of appreciation. And Razor was not in the squad, so he was doing the lap of honour in a suit, like a nice whistle. By the end of going all the way around the Upton Park, he was down to his pants.
That makes sense.
Throwing his shirt off, his boot, his shoes, his socks, just walking in his pants. Oh yeah, I loved Razor.
The stories about him and the Monday clubs and stuff that they used to go out with and betting Jags and just, I mean, I've heard some of his stories over the years and you just thought they were the days. That was the proper heyday of football right there.
Oh, definitely. It was, funny era. And actually, it's funny when I interviewed him, I think my dishwasher was being repaired, so the dishwasher man turned up just as like halfway through the interview, and I'm really sorry, Neil. I'm just going to have to go and let the dishwasher man in, and I left him alone. I left the camera running, and it was I actually kept it in because Neil Ruddock on his own with his own devices just is a very bizarre person. He was just looking at the camera and doing little impressions to himself. There was no one watching it, he was just doing it. But he's an absolute legend. And he famously got when he was at West Ham, one Christmas party, he got arrested and had a 2-mile exclusion zone of Romford Town Centre. And 2 miles within Romford Town Centre is our training ground. So he couldn't actually go to training because he was banned from that area. So Harry had to go down the court and get it changed to a mile and a half or something just so he could go to training. Oh, those were the days, isn't it? I mean, I'm the same. I don't know if you're the same as me. I found football a bit boring now in terms of that. Everyone's a professional and you don't get many personalities like Razor Ruddock anymore, or even JMO, to be honest. I find it quite boring, to be honest, in that respect.
You hear some of the stories, even Souness and the lads back then.
Yeah.
Like, you just hear some of them and they just, like George Best, Miss World on one arm, Champagne Fountain on the other arm, still showing up and scoring hat-tricks. I mean, that's a superstar to me, man. That's a superstar.
Brilliant. I love it. No,
Paul McGrath as well. Couldn't train a bit.
Yeah.
be out in the points or whatever, I'd still go out on Saturday and put in a shift. Still went to USA 94 for Ireland against Italy and was a one-man wall. I'll never forget that performance.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's so true. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the Frank McAvenis of our of West Ham, and as you said, walking out of Stringfellows at whatever it was, and then score an hat trick the next day. Just can't do it nowadays. Right, okay. So we've got Mascherano, we've got Johnson, we've got Ruddock. Who's next? Who's next in that? We have one more defender. Yeah, 4-4-2, whatever. Yeah, who's next, man?
Alvaro Arbeloa.
Yep. we unsurprisingly we've actually got a different person, so there we go. Alvaro Arbeloa. Yes, the man who left within 3 months of joining us. Yes, 4 games I think he played for us, Arbeloa, but he did all right for you guys, didn't he?
I have a subs bench as well that I was looking down at, and I couldn't get as cheeky as to go with Rob Jones because he had the briefest of stints. Did he even play a game for you guys?
No.
I know he just signed on loan or signed for a brief period.
He signed and he got injured. It happened quite a lot with us. We bought players who actually got injured during their first training sessions and never actually played. 4 or 5 of them, it was weird. But yeah, we could have had him. Yes, Arbeloa. But yeah, but he did all right for you guys, didn't he? He did all right for you guys, Arbeloa.
He was brilliant for us. Then to Real Madrid. I think I know where you're going to go, but yeah, I had to put Arbeloa in there just because what he did for us.
Okay. Well, there's 2 options for me at left back. I'll be honest.
One of them looks like me, apparently, if I'm thinking right.
I think he does. He does look like you. Yes, one of them looks very much like. Actually, I think both of them look a bit like you, to be honest. One of them is obviously Mr. Julian Dix, of course. I'm going to put Julian in because obviously he's a legend at West Ham, but also he was the last person to score in the by the old Cop. He was the last person to score there before it changed. So he'll always be, in the fabric of Liverpool. It didn't have a great time. He was there and gone, really, to be honest. But also, I could have put in another follically challenged player, Paul Konchesky, obviously, as well.
He didn't play for us, mate. I've no memories of him. None. Him or his mother, Karen. Don't remember either of them being at the club in any way, shape, or form.
I'm gonna take precedent. I'm gonna put Julian Dix in. I am gonna put Julian Dix in just because he played more than a few games. But there we go. It's only because Julian, and we've had him on the channel, and he still scares me.
He's a good lad. Nothing against Julian Dix whatsoever. Proper fella.
Proper fella. And also, if we're talking about people who didn't train, he never warmed up before a game. His warm up was a can of Coke, a Mars bar, and he just go fully clothed in a bath. Hot
sounds
bath.
Sounds like my kind of warm up. I won't lie.
It sounds like perfect. Yeah, so absolutely perfect for Julian. But we'll put Julian in. Right, okay, there we go. That's not a bad back four. I tell you what, mate. I don't think that's bad at all in their pomp. Right, okay. So let's go into midfield then. That's what we've got the back four. Nice, the goalkeeper. I like it. Right, let's go into midfield then. Who's your first midfielder? We'll do it like that rather than necessarily, positions, because in case we put people in different positions.
It's got to be the great Israeli, Yossi Benayoun.
Yes, Yossi's in. Yes. No, definitely. I mean, he was when he was at Liverpool. There's a stat I always hear about Yossi. He was the first person to score a hat trick in the Champions League, the Premier League, the FA Cup, and I think the League Cup. And I think he's the first one ever to do that. And it was all at Liverpool, I believe. Brilliant, Yossi, isn't he?
I loved him. Absolutely loved having him at the club. I mean, I remember, if my memory's right, he went and we got Joe Cole in a kind of swap deal at the time. And I remember thinking, well, we've got the better of this deal, because I thought Yossi had come to the end, but how wrong I was. Yeah, I loved having him at the football club. He played the game like with a smile on his face and with a great attitude, and never complained, and just a wonderfully technically gifted footballer.
Yeah, and according to people I've interviewed, he liked to, because he was a bag of bones, wasn't he, Yossi? To be honest, he was like a strong wind could have blown him over. But apparently in training, he loved to get involved, like the tackles. Love to get involved, and it's not fair play to him. No, Yossi's a top man, top guy, and a fantastic player for us. And again, one of those players, a bit like Dixie, who went and came back. Like the boomerang players, I call them. And yeah, it was fantastic. And it's not like I'm still bitter about a 2006 FA Cup final, but I think he was man of the match. I know Steven Gerrard got the plaudits, but I thought he was the man of the match. Anyway,
The story about Gerrard and why he took that shot is the one that always made me interested. He was just so tired he couldn't do anything else but shoot. He had no energy left. All he could think of doing was just shooting.
Scaloni, why? I know it's one of those. But yeah, I mean, I loved it. We was obviously we were there 3 years in a row, weren't we? Because we'd lost the first playoff, we'd won the second one, and actually, I had the same car park space as 3 years in a row in Cardiff. There we go. Little interesting factoid. It's all going on here, right? Okay, Yoshi's the first one. I've got him as well, so that's a tick. Who is next, my friend?
I don't know how you'll feel about this one, and I don't know how I actually feel about him as a time with us, but I'm trying to look at his overall career, and I'm going for Paul Ince.
Yep. I do you know what? I have put him in, and you watch all the dislikes. I'm not, but I know what you mean. I mean, for us, obviously, the way he left was, yeah. I mean, people still hate him. Yeah, they do. 30 years on, 40 years on, or whatever it was. Not 40 years on, how old is he? But you know what I mean? So, but when he was playing, he was a phenomenal player for us. Young, athletic. I wasn't around to really remember seeing him play live, but he was a great player. And with John Lyle was like his father figure to him. Then Lyle went, and it was all gone a bit funny. So, yeah, but I mean, he did the jobs for you guys as well, didn't he? To be honest,
I never was able to take to him. I don't know why. Anyone that calls himself the Gaffer, or what was it he called himself? His nickname was it the Gaffer? I think he called himself.
Gaffer. Yeah.
Anyone who comes into the dressing room and then gets lifted out of it by Steven Gerrard in the first training session, a young, hungry Steven Gerrard, that told me he was the Gaffer in that dressing room moving forward. As you said, no denying the man's talent. He was wonderful at Manchester United, spent time at Inter as well, obviously with us. You can't deny his career, but I just couldn't take to him. He's just one of those players I was never able to take to.
Do you think it's the Man United thing?
I honestly don't. I just think it's more his arrogance without the Cantona deservingness of arrogance. Like, I look at Cantona and I go, you're arrogant, but you've every right to be arrogant. And I'd probably be as arrogant if I was you. And some players need that swagger about him, but with him, I think most of the hype was in his own head, if that makes sense. Like, I think even if I came up to him and said, you know what, Paul, you are my favorite player of all time, in his head, he's probably going, I should be as well. So that's kind of the way I feel about him.
No, yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It's one of those things that you have to detach the player from the personality. It's like that's what a lot of us. Obviously, I interview people who get their Hammers 11s. They put their 11 of their team that they saw, favorite players or whatever. And a lot of people put Payet in because as a player, not necessarily the personality and I think Ince is the same one. In my opinion, as I said, the dislikes of this is going down straight away, but I'm not bothered. Right, okay. Ince, Yossi, who's next, my man?
It's got to be Joe Cole. It's got to be.
Yeah.
I mean, one the man Steven Gerrard said was as talented as Lionel Messi on the training ground, famously at Liverpool. But look, you got to say, one hell of a technically gifted footballer, one hell of an influencer on the pitch, and just seems a good lad as well. I like a bit of him on BT Sport. I don't mind listening to him either. He's got to be Joe Cole. I mean, if you don't rate Joe Cole, I give up.
Yeah. No, of course. No, yeah. I mean, and you're right. He's brilliant. I think he's really good on BT Sport. Really, really good. And obviously another boomerang player for West Ham. Obviously went and came back, and he's highly regarded by everyone really at West Ham, and he always was. One of our boys done good. So that was a gimme. That was almost the first one I put on the team sheet. To be honest, I was like, Liverpool, brilliant, Joe Cole. But yeah, Joe's him. Okay. Next spot, my man. Who's next?
I'll tell you who I didn't go with. I didn't go with Stuart Downing.
Yep.
I decided to get some poetic justice again, or poetic license, or Ray Houghton.
Yes. I'm gonna allow that one in. I'm gonna allow that one in. Put Ray Houghton, yes, because he was at West Ham as well. He was at West Ham, and I took Julian, so I'm gonna put Ray in because I think that will be fantastic. Yeah, I mean, absolute legend, isn't he? I mean, there's no way of describing Ray Houghton, is there really?
And for us as well, for us Irish guys, the goal he scored in Euro '88 in Stuttgart, it'll go down in went down in folklore for us, that goal. And he's again another really, really lovely fella, a very gifted footballer, and somebody who we were lucky to have at Liverpool for quite a while. And love Ray Houghton to bits.
We'll put Ray in definitely. I mean, but we had quite a few to pick from. I think from midfield perspective, there was like we had, and actually we didn't even mention people like Burrows and stuff before. But but obviously Mike Marsh played for both. Who would I put on my list? Don Hutchinson, Deadly Don.
Not a decent show. But there's some talent there in that midfield. I'm telling you.
There's some talent.
I think if we put this team together in its prime, as you said, we're challenging for a Champions League spot.
I think so. Definitely. We can move Ray and Joe round, so Joe can play on the left where he played it. But that's fine. I mean, who else we have? Victor Moses. God dear. Yes. Okay. Move on. We'll move on.
Not for us. He wasn't very good for us, to be honest.
He scored one goal for us, which was City away. I think, literally the second game after. I think because we'd beaten Arsenal and then we went to City and we'd beaten City. Oh, I can't remember. But he wasn't great. Wasn't great. Still at Chelsea, isn't he? But on loan. Right up front, strikers. This will be interesting. Who's your first forward? Then, buddy,
it's got to be Bellers. It has to be Craig Bellamy. I mean, there is, what we call a pest in the game. Somebody who doesn't go away, is nipping at your ankles, waiting for a mistake, pace to burn, knows where the goal is. Just that whole putter incident with John Arne Riise at our club. Craig Bellamy has to be.
No, definitely. He was, again, one of those players I wish we'd have had for a lot longer. I think he didn't play a huge amount of games for us. Obviously, he was bought, and it was almost like the idea was they were going to put Ashton and Bellamy together as a front two, which should have been phenomenal. But I think he played like two or three, a handful of games for Ashton, got injured and stuff. You're right. He was a player you hated when he was on the opposition, but when he was on your play, he was a bastard, but he was our bastard. And when he was our bastard, we loved him. And he was a good lad, Bellamy. And I just love players who are like, as you said, terriers, just don't stop nipping at their centre backs. And I imagine that every centre back would have hated playing against Craig Bellamy, just because of the type of person he is and the type of...
The man went to the new camp and scored for us, like in that important game against Barcelona. Like I loved Craig Bellamy. I have to say, I really loved him at Liverpool. Everything about him. I love, as you said, a bit of a shithouse. If he's your shithouse, it's kind of the type of lad you love. But I really do have a lot of time for Craig Bellamy.
Yeah, he's a top man. Right, we've got one more spot left, my friend. One more spot. Who have you got?
I've gone for somebody who I don't think may have been a success massively at either of our clubs, but again, on his career, I've gone for Robbie Keane.
I knew he was going to put Robbie Keane in. I don't know why. I just knew he was going to put Robbie Keane in. Maybe something to the accent. That's what I was going to say.
Do you know what? As far as Irish players go, he wouldn't be up there on my top list.
Really? Yeah.
Again, somebody I couldn't really take to. And I felt, to be fair to him, he didn't get a chance at Liverpool. I don't think he really got given a fair crack at a whip by Rafael Benitez when he was there. He got that great goal against Arsenal, obviously, for us. But the man is a goal scoring machine everywhere he's gone. And he finished up his career being able to say that he went over to Inter Milan and played with the original Ronaldo. Like, there's not many of us can say that he started with Wolves right through then Inter Milan, and then every club he's ever supported, which seems to be every club in Europe as well, that he got to play for. I supported this club as a child growing up, everywhere we went.
That was always West Ham. Anytime we'd sign someone like Teddy Sheringham, I used to stand on the North Bank on a box cheering the boys on, and we used to take the piss when we'd sign, like, I don't know, when we'd signed, Titi Kamara, for example, or someone like that, who you could have put in. He was obviously Neil Mellor. We've had Neil. I love Neil. I love Neil. He's a lovely boy.
Oh, again, massive goal for us against Arsenal that I remember all those years ago. He was on the pitch against the Olympiacos when Gerrard scored that screamer to get us through 3-1 in 2005. A lot of time for Neil Mellor. Fantastic pundit as well, by the way.
Yeah,
Another good pundit and another good lad.
Yes. And also, I like Neil Mellor for the fact that we signed him on loan from you guys. And Glenn Roeder, God rest his soul, he phoned him because we were playing Preston that weekend, and he said, "Oh, we'll pick you up on the way. Don't bother coming down, and we'll pick you up on the way." And so his first interaction with all the West Ham team was at a service station on the way to to Preston. Just like jumps on. Hello, I'm Neil. I'm Blaine, and that just epitomised that West Ham.
Come on, Neil. Time to pay your subs, mate. Hand up.
Exactly.
Pay your $5 before you get on.
Pay your subs. Who's washing the kits? Who's washing the kits today? I did mine last one. No, the missus did this one. I'm going to suggest do Super Andy Carroll.
You know what? Andy Carroll, I don't think he fulfilled his career, but undoubted ability and talents. Like, scored an amazing goal for us against Man City after we signed him. I mean, unplayable on his day. If only he could sit on a bar stool without falling off it, we would have been all a lot happier. But, that's a show. I'll give you that one. That's a good show. I'm
going to say Andy Carroll. The only reason is because he scored like, a fair few goals at both. Obviously, I think Andy's never fulfilled his career wherever he's gone, unfortunately. But I love a player who commands more than one defender. And when he was playing, both centre backs would be on him, particularly when he was at West Ham. And so he gave opportunity. Again, we never really played to his strengths. We never played the big man, little man. Him and Bellas up front would have been awesome in this team. Or we had Chicharito, and they never played them two up front. It was ridiculous. But I did like Andy. He was when he played, you couldn't question his commitment, but it wasn't enough. And obviously, typically, like, he goes to Newcastle, first game against West Ham, plays 90 minutes. There we go. When the pubs aren't open, makes a big difference, doesn't it?
I think a big influence on him as well at the time was the guy Kevin
Nolan.
Yeah, Kevin Nolan was a massive influence on him as well, in a good way. I mean, tried to be a positive influence on him. But yeah, actually, to be fair, I think I forgot about Andy Carroll. I probably would have put him in there ahead of Robbie Keane. So I'll definitely give you that one.
Right, he's in. I'm putting him in. Well, I'll tell you what, Craig, we've done a good team there, man. That is exciting. There's creativity. You've got some steel in the back. I don't know if Dixie or Ruddock will play many games with VAR now, to be honest, or Bellas, to be honest. He put a boot in, but yeah, that ain't a bad team, my man.
We had Arbeloa as well to switch it up tactically if we needed to at some point. Big man, little man up front, like you always wanted for Carroll there with Bellamy.
Exactly. I mean, we didn't even mention Rigobert Song. We could put Rigobert Song in. As I said, Titi Kamara. We could have easily done a full squad, I reckon, easily with those two, which is great. And obviously, sub goalkeeper would have been Adrian, of course.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, bless him. Yeah. Some players have become cult heroes. And I was gutted when he went to you guys, because I thought, actually, because typically, to be honest, one of those things that happens quite a lot. It happens to every club, really. But as soon as a player leaves, then they get there's an injury, and he would have ended up playing. And obviously, he left, and we signed Roberto, and the rest was history, And Pellegrini lost his job because of that decision, to be honest. Because obviously, when Fabianski was injured, it all went to shit. But anyway, Craig, man.
Came in for us and won the Super Cup.
He did. That's what I mean. That ain't bad. That's almost like Robert Greene-esque, when he still has in his Twitter, he still has the fact that he's in the Chelsea and the Champions, the European Cup. He's still got it up on his Twitter. It's absolutely brilliant. But yeah,
by the way, actually, on Robert Greene, an amazing piece of analysis on the other night in Sky from him on goalkeeping. Brilliant. I mean, I'm a former keeper myself, and just to hear him talking about body positions and stuff like that, it was fascinating. I thought it was a brilliant piece of analysis.
He's doing, as the kids say, he's doing bits, I think, when it comes to that sort of analysis. I think he's brilliant. I mean, we've been very. I mean, goalkeepers is for some reason on the channel. Like we've had I think we've had 62 ex players on the channel, and I think about 10 of them are goalkeepers. It's like we've had JMO, we've had some great goalkeepers like Shaka and people like that, and
I love
hopefully
Shaka.
oh,
Love Shaka.
I love him. He's one of those players that I don't know. I just love. We just met him. It's like and he was like, oh, he's so sweet. Because where I used to live in Essex, I was still in Essex, but I moved to a different part, and that's where all the West Ham players used to live. And Shaq used to come in every Friday for his big shop at Safeways. Every Friday, and I'd always make sure I was on shift, and you'd see him because he was so bloody tall. His head would be above all the shelves. It was brilliant. No, I love him. Top man. Craig, man, thank you so much for your time, buddy. I said we was going to be 45 minutes, and I was 13 seconds out. I do apologise. But anyway,
that was my fault. I kept talking. It's my pleasure, Russ. Look, I've really enjoyed it, man, and it's a great idea for a segment, and I hope it continues to fly for you.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much, and good luck for the rest of the season. I think you guys will be all right. I reckon now. I think Leicester are going to be the ones that are going to fall like a stone. So that means I think Leicester. I look at their fixtures and I just think we've had Jack on from Leicester Fan TV, so he sort of mentioned that he thought they were going to drop out the top 4. But okay. Anyway, I didn't say it. Anyway, cheers, my buddy. And obviously, thanks everyone for watching, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify or whatever. Anyway, give it a like, give it a share, and also head over to the Anfield Agenda as well. Some great stuff that Craig the two do over there. So, and from myself and from Craig, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Get those jabs when you get your appointments. I've had mine. I've had my jab because I'm fat, basically. and take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Come on, you irons, and up the Reds. Is that what you guys say?
There you go. Up the Reds. There you go, Russ.
Okay. Come on, you irons. Up the Reds. And take care, everyone. Much love. See you soon.